Alright, let's craft some mines, shall we? Meow. What am I doing? Shit! I meant to Google... Oh my gosh. Damn it.
Tells a story.
Ah!
Trial chambers have the best loot of any structure in Minecraft, like the
Oh.
incredible mace, but they're filled with
I want the
difficult
mace.
mobs and dangerous traps.
I
so
want the
here's how to
mace.
find and raid them. The first step to raiding the trial chambers is finding the trial chambers, and the way to do it is the cartographer villager. Now it'll unlock this trade on its 3rd upgrade, so it's about to go to its 2nd upgrade now. It'll go from asking for paper to asking for better. The second method is finding trial chambers using chunkbase.com. So on Chunkbase, you can also find the trial chambers a lot more naturally where a trial chamber is. So once we found generation like this, to start, you want to bring some logs so that you can have chests to store these items. You want to have a shield or maybe 2 for the skeletons that are here, a good source of food like maybe some steak, ender pearls for quick getaways if you have them. You also want a good smite sword, as well as a good bow with power.
Smite,
on it
why
and
do I
some
need
arrows
smite?
for that. Then some bundles, which can also be used to pick up the items in this structure, but these are optional, and you also want to have a good set of diamond armor, and some torches to light up the structure. As you can see, it is incredibly dark, and as another optional item, bringing these splash potions of healing can be a great tool to fighting undead mobs. So it's always a good idea to bring a bed and sleep in it so that your spawn point is set. What types of rooms can we actually find in this trial chambers? Well, the first type is the corridor. Now the corridor are these giant hallways that most people are probably aware of, as it's the main room of the trial chambers, but as you can see, it can also have some mob spawners in it. So although it's not the most dangerous room, it definitely has some danger in it, but also has a lot of treasure. So yes, the main hallways with about 3 walkways and 3 floors and some spawners, that is the corridors, and there's often up to 2 of them in one trial chambers. One type of generation is these large drops which go between different sections. In these areas, we have these triple beds here which could be used to set your spawn point before descending lower down. However, very often as well, these corridors will connect up to rooms called the atrium, and these rooms are pretty easy to identify as they'll have pixel art of different mobs on them on the walls. The only exception to that actually is this one art right here. I believe it's meant to represent the swirling pattern that's on the chiseled tough bricks, but overall it's really not much compared to all the other patterns that can spawn. We can see a different example of the atrium. There are a few other arts that can spawn here, but apparently this structure just wanted to have 2 spider variants here. Now the atrium as well is just this wide open room with a grand staircase leading to a different area as well as a fountain, and these rooms do not have any trials in them but often connect into other rooms. Now this room that we've just gone into is actually the entrance room, the only other type of room that is not directly challenged based. The entrance room, I guess, is the room that Mojang would expect the player to go through, but again, there's really nothing that would make you necessarily mine into this room at the beginning or not. Now inside of this entrance room, we'll find that there's a stairway leading us up to the second portion, and there's basically a nature display area here. So it can be a desert little scene, it can be a mangrove swamp tree sort of scene, or it can just be an oak tree or other similar scenes. Now as well as that, again, we have some chests in here, but also you can often find beds inside of this room. This room specifically has a few secrets, the first one being this trapdoor here, which can lead us from the upper to the lower sections of this. There's actually this copper grate, and if we dig these 2 areas out, there's a door here, and it leads us to a small base area with better loot in this chest. In this room specifically, if we go down to the downstairs portion, there's a fun build here, which if you notice is meant to represent a keyhole and where one of those trial chambers keys would fit. Now the only other type of room, before we get into the main chambers, is one that's actually only inside of Java Edition, and these are called the Encounters. They basically exist of what you could consider a small trial chambers challenge. For an example, spawners that generate at least mobs that you would assume would be easier. So more or less, this is giving us an encounter with the trial chamber danger, giving us an easier example of. So those are the rooms that generate. What treasure is here? Well, the first one is just the blocks that generate in it, and in my opinion, this is probably one of the biggest treasures that are found here, because you have access to more or less infinite waxed oxidized copper blocks. That's right, every single one of these blocks has also had a honeycomb applied to it, and better yet, this is also true for these unoxidized full copper blocks. So I would suggest at some point going through this structure, collecting many stacks of both copper and oxidized copper blocks. The decorated pots, if broken, can have some loot inside of them, and there's a rare chance for some very amazing loot in here. So for an example, I believe 1 in over 300 of these pots can contain a diamond block inside of it, and it's a good idea to collect these pots as they have the Flow and Guster pottery shards in them. Now these barrels contain a certain loot table, which does not include the most valuable blocks, but it's still worthwhile to take a look at what's in there. Also around this structure in different areas we have chests. Now these chests can have different loot depending on which type of chests they are. These sorts of treasure trial chamber rooms can be pretty common. Looking inside this chest we find a trident, as well as some emeralds. And also you may notice with this variant there's actually a trap here. Let's say we fall down it here, then we cannot get out and we're going to land on that stalagmite. You also may notice there's these barrels with hoppers leading into them. These never contain any loot, but are instead, I believe, a strange mechanism of quickly throwing valuable items in here to be saved. However, the biggest source of loot items inside the trial chambers is by far the trial vault, and it will give you a random assortment of different valuable items. However, this is not just true with this vault, generating around the trial chambers in different areas. It has 3 skulls in it. You right click on this, it closes, and we get some items from this vault's loot drops. Now this vault is what can give us the heavy core and the wind charge enchantment, which can give us the ability to create a very powerful mace weapon. So when we enter most rooms of the trial chamber,
Wait a second, go back on that.
the trial vault, and it will give you a random assortment of different valuable items. However, this is not just true with this vault, generating around the trial chambers in different areas. It has 3 skulls in it. You right click on this, it closes, and we get some items from this vault's loot drops. Now this vault is what can give us the heavy core and the wind charge enchantment, which can give us the ability to create a very powerful mace weapon. So when we enter most rooms of the trial chambers, we're greeted by the trial spawners. And how exactly do these trial spawners work? Well, you can start by noticing around the base of the spawner, it actually tells us what mob it's going to spawn. Now if you want to stop one of these from spawning mobs, we're going to surround it fully in blocks. Once that's happened, the spawner will no longer spawn any new mobs. Be aware that inside of these trial rooms as well, we have these dispensers, and these can have loot in them also, but very dangerous items. There are 11 different types of trial spawners, and it's good to remember that whether or not you do a standard or ominous trial, this spawner will only ever spawn the type of mobs that it's assigned originally. So this spawner right here, again with the chiseled tuff, shows us that it spawns the breeze. The trial spawner, completely surrounded in mossy cobblestone, spawns zombies. The trial spawner that's covered in actually chiseled sandstone is what spawns the husk. Then a trial spawner covered in cobwebs with stone beneath them is the spider spawner. The one with moss blocks spawns slime, and the one with stone brick spawns silverfish. This one is the most dangerous, and you want to look out for it. When it's half cobblestone, half mossy cobblestone, that indicates that this is a baby zombie spawner. Now I suppose to indicate the poison, having half cobwebs on top of stone and half red mushrooms on top of podzol, we have the cave spider spawner. After that, with packed ice, we have the stray spawner, and with bone blocks around it, there's the skeleton spawner, and finally the brand new bogged spawner has the bone blocks around it, as well as podzol with the mushrooms on top. But what about the number of mobs and how many we have to defeat at a time to eventually get ourselves a trial key? So after they've spawned some mobs, there's exactly 6 slime here, and the reason why is quite simple. There are 2 spawners that do slime, and a single trial spawner can only have 3 mobs out at a time from it. But you may also notice, as I kill these slimes, more of them eventually spawn, because there's a total of 6 mobs that I have to defeat from every trial spawner. So because of this, once we've defeated a total of 6 mobs from the spawner, with 3 being active at a time, we'll get our reward. Though with baby zombie spawners, thankfully only 2 are active at a time, and with breeze spawners only 1 are active at a time, but it also only spawns a total of 2 breezes. Now as well as that, the trial spawner will try and spawn a new mob if it has any left to spawn every single second. And once we've killed all 6 mobs that have generated from that, we will then get ourselves the treasure from this spawner. Now that this trial spawner has been defeated, it's deactivated, and that means that it will not spawn any mobs again for a full 30 minutes. Now trial chambers spawners can be used again and again, but their vaults cannot. However, when Mojang designed the trial chambers, one of their biggest focuses was multiplayer. That's right, this structure is made much better when you have multiple players raiding it. So with 1 player with me, we're now going to have 50% more mobs, which means a total of 9 mobs are going to spawn from each one of these spawners. However, we're also going to get double the loot. That means that for an example, we could get 2 trial keys from this. Now both of us are next to these spawners, and you can see that they're spawning more mobs. There's also going to be a larger total of active mobs, so we can have more than just 3 mobs active. This would average out to about 4 mobs active. And over here you can see there's 2 of these potions of regeneration. So the spawner will give you exactly double of what it would normally give you with every new player added. That technically means you could have 10 players here and get 10 of these keys. So the vaults can only ever be opened up once per player. However, that means that we can have multiple players open up the same vault. Let's say here, I'll try the vault. However, if Sam DeCam tries opening this spawner, you can see it'll actually open up all the way for him as well, and there's even some amazing loot with that armor trim. I kinda wish I got that drop. There are 11 different trial chamber mobs that can spawn, and let's talk about how to defeat each one individually. To start, there's the breeze. The spawner right here can only spawn a total of 2, and there's only 1 active at a time. However, this room gives them some advantages, such as this water bucket, so you can just remove it from there to stop it it from making that go. You can always have blocks above your head for this too, but the trick is to get in close to the breeze, as close as you can. Just hit it with as many direct attacks as you can. You can also try hitting it with a bow, but overall the breeze spawners are pretty easy, and that's how you defeat one. A mob added in 1.21 along with the trial chambers is the Bogged. And this mob specifically spawns quite a bit within this structure. It hits you with poison arrows, but also has some special abilities. One of them is the fact that it has these mushrooms on top of it. And interestingly enough, we can actually shear those off, randomly being red or brown or both. And so because of that, you can see it's very dangerous if you don't use a shield. However, with the shield, we can avoid the damage from this for quite a while, till we get into safer positions. But be aware, as you can see, their poison will wear you down quite a bit. And you can also always try and fight them at a ranged distance. Also, this is especially a structure where smite is important, as the smite 5 sword I have here, even though it's just diamond, will still instantly one-hit kill these Bogged, which means that this room may be a little bit easier than originally seems. Get the mobs to fight each other so that they don't fight you and they're distracted and they're also hurting each other. Just be aware with all these spawners, these Bogged can definitely overpower you. The texture of the bogs indicate where they generally spawn, which is the swamp as well as mangrove swamp. And there's not just Bogged, all 3 skeleton variants, the Stray, the Bogged, as well as the standard skeleton spawn here, and the way to defeat them all is fairly similar. You want to block their arrows with the bow, but another good trick is to make them hit each other. The other thing is too, you generally do want to be fairly close to the skeletons when defeating them. You can always fire back with a ranged weapon at them as well, but I found it's better to actually attack them more directly, with the vital thing being to always bring a shield to skeleton fights. There's also multiple types of spiders that can spawn, and the best way of defeating these is with ranged weapons, as they have a very large size, so they're easy to hit, and this is especially useful with the other variant. This is a poison spider spawner, better known as a cave spider spawner, and these are on the trial chambers. There are the ominous vaults. If you place down a bit of fire, they're all going to walk through it to get to you, and so because of that, you can see they're going to start burning to death, and that's specifically how you defeat all those mobs in the trial chambers. Around the trial chambers, there are the ominous vaults, and the ominous vaults require the ominous trial key to open. But the only way to get this ominous trial key is to defeat an ominous trial spawner. Now right here we have ominous bottles. These are dropped by pillagers, and you can also get them from some of the treasure inside of the trial chambers. They're the standard ominous bottle, going up to 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the effect itself is not stronger, however it lasts for longer. So it is 15 minutes per level, and let's say we drink the one with 2, it should be 30 minutes. We will start with the bad omen effect. However, if we get near one of these trial spawners, they are going to turn with that amazing skull animation into an ominous trial spawner, and our effect here is going to turn into trial omen for 30 minutes. What this means is we have these amazing skull particles around us, as well as turning every single one of these trial spawners into an ominous trial spawner. So let's break down all the things that an ominous trial spawner changes. Now when a trial spawner becomes ominous, it doesn't spawn a different mob than it normally was, but it makes it more difficult in some way. So with the breeze here, for example, this spawner, instead of having 1 breeze out at a time for a total of 2 breezes, so that'll give us 4 breezes instead of 2, and 2 active breezes instead of 1, which significantly increases the difficulty of these. But when we apply this effect of double the mobs that cannot wear armor to, let's say, a spider spawner, you see the true difficulty that this causes, as this will allow the spawner to have 6 active spiders at a time. However, when we encounter a trial spawner that turns ominous that is able to spawn mobs that can hold weapons and armor, well, we get a much more difficult and different result. In fact, if you want to get some ominous trial keys a lot easier, I would suggest never doing the ones with mobs that can wear armor and hold swords. So any armor they'll be given is trimmed, and as well as that, their armor can be chain, diamond, and iron. Now it'll never drop any of this armor, and mobs that would not normally hold a weapon are made the most dangerous of all. That's because things like husks or zombies are able to now hold a sword, and that can be anything between a diamond sword, an iron sword, or an enchanted iron sword. We are fighting a true well-equipped army of mobs. So I've now drank an invisibility potion. We can observe the effect that happens from this trial spawner. It's going to spawn projectiles. So every single 8 seconds, it drops one above a player or mob around it. This one over here spawned above this Bogged. Now what happens is it spins in the air like that for 3 to 6 seconds. Now what determines the projectiles that appear around the trial spawner? One thing you can first notice is that they're set. So we keep getting these splash potions of speed, and the projectiles that come out keep being wind charges. The trial spawner picks one item from 2 categories. The first one is a potion, the second one is a projectile. For the
Okay, so I need ominous. Okay. Do I not have a crafting table up here? Double. Power 2. No, thank you. Don't need this, don't need this. I do need this. Here's some 3. Let's read these. Somebody just dropped some heat over there? Here we go. What's up? I think I've already been here before. But this shirt. Jump! Take it. Oh. Not what I want. Yo. Where's the guy at the banner? I need a bannerman. Oh, fuck. I release you. Be free, my giant. Need a bannerman. Alright, how to get ominous potions. Oh, fuck. Was I not streaming that? Shit. Minecraft. Fuck. Villager murmur. Somebody's stuck down here. You're not a raid captain. Alright. Useless to me. I do fancy a warm ocean biome. Villager outpost, please, where are you? Looking for villager outpost, where are you? Shoo. This isn't loading in. Mesa biome? Ooh, a village. Yo, you like chill, dog? My encoder overloading or what? Or what? I do like the look of those beds. Oh, these beds are pretty cool. No. Let's... Woo! Excuse me. Bye. Anything good over here? Ow, 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 ow. You're hurting me. I can't. There is? Cat on my lap, cat on my lap. I got a cat on my lap. Hey, 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 hey. Ow, ow, dad, dad. Oh. 2 lodestones. Don't really care about any of this stuff. Nonetheless. What can go in here? Oh my god. Go across the ocean. Oh no, did I? Alright, there's gotta be a pillager outpost over here. Owie, owie. Kona? Tiny bit of bad stuff. These don't stack. Great. Kona! You're not exactly helping me here. What? I didn't mean to use 2. Inefficient. Another. Bundle's full. Quite beautiful over here, really. Quite beautiful indeed. Looking for a pillager tower, looking for a pillager tower. Here is a villager sour. Villager sour? Villager power. We don't care about villagers. We just want pillager. Give me that tail whip. Looking for a pillager. Pillager. Where are the pillagers, yeah? That is hooked, yeah? Let it load. Alright, I'm about to Google how to find pillager towers. Because this ain't it, folks. Anything fun in here? Oh. Oh. Okay, I regret this. Pretty dark in here. Yo, kick something. That is a long message, my dude. How the fluff do I get out of here? Ouchie. I'm ready to propose a collaboration I think could be truly beneficial to a streamer. The goal is to help talented streamers like yourself reach a wider audience to grow your viewership. I have a strong network of gaming. Jesus. Add me on Discord. Probably not going to add you on Discord there, bud. Fuck me, dude. Alright, we're just building straight up. We're just sticking straight up. What the? Okay, so yay. I'm gonna do some quick Googling. It's about to be night again? What the dude? Another one of these. Okay. We'll pause it. Ow. And hit a Google. My goodness. Load soon. Okay. Um. Literally cannot carry anything more. Okay. All right. Um. Sounds like pillager, 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 pillager. Feel like Maverick. Top Gun, baby. Oh, is this a village? That it is. That it is. Oh, come on. Freaking lodestone? An apple? Okay, I don't know. Let's. Oh shit. Gosh darn it. Um, 756,116 minus 77. Wouldn't have got that. Holy shit balls, dude. Minus 7 to the. Oh. There we go, baby. Fuck, I don't have a. Can I quickly kill a sheep or something? Polar bear? I don't think I want to mess with the polar bear. I would love to get out of night. That would be ideal. Where is your captain? I'm lagging like a good amount here. Oh, heard that. String. Doesn't string do something? Damn it. Yeah, I got a bunch of string. How many? Huge. We're sleeping. We're sleeping. Yeah. Please give me bad omen. Yo. Oh, I left the door open. Okay. All right, well, I got bad omens, so I probably need some more actually. I want like a bunch. $530. Probably should finish up here. Momentarily loyalty. Thanks. Bookshelf. Thanks. Fortune 1. Fortunate Son. Bookshelf. 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 Get out of here, dude. What are they falling for? I already have it, but pretty solid. Bookshelf. I'm like a Smite 5, Fortune 1,000,000. Looting 1,000,000. Sharpness. Does sharpness do anything to... I don't have sharpness, do I? Silk touch. I probably should grab that. Come on. 13 was it? Dum 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 dum. Moving Edge 2 though. Moving Edge 3 is the best. Loyalty. There's a binding. Curse of Vanishing. Why don't I just freaking set up Fortune 2? Alright, we're gonna do... No, we're not. We're not gonna do it. Only max, bros. I don't want no 2s. But we will set up a... enchanting table. Oh, I got the books on me. Should be more books here, though. Take the diamonds. I gotta move all this stuff. What are they? Obviously, my enchanting setup should be 3rd floor, right? This looks like a cozy corner for an enchanting table. God damn it. I don't have lapis lazuli though. Or do I? La Paz Lazurs. All right, I'm done.